Electricity, the resource that we, as a society, have become more and more dependent on throughout the years since its creation. Imagine yourself living without it for a moment, and not just for a couple of hours, but for days or weeks.
Well, losing electricity for a few weeks could have dire consequences. Not only would you lose access to obvious commodities such as heat, air conditioning, lighting, even your precious phones would eventually die out. You'd also lose access to the internet and basic communication. You'd also lose the ability to preserve fresh food and pump water to your homes. And if the situation were to last more than a few weeks, the resources would get harder and harder to produce or procure, and it's not hard to imagine that the people would take advantage of that. So resources like water, food, batteries, gasoline, or energy generators would be hoarded by the strong or sold to the highest bidder.
Unfortunately, many factors can obstruct this precious resource from making its way to fulfill our ever-demanding power needs. It could be due to natural disasters like earthquakes, lightning, or hurricanes, where the power lines might short-circuit while being in contact with trees. Utility poles and pylons could be knocked over by vehicles or heavy machinery. Sometimes it might be caused by a computer bug, and sometimes by simple human error.
Well, these incidents, taken individually, they rarely have a major impact on our lives. It's when you start combining them together that it can create a very frightening and dangerous situation really quickly. It's exactly what happened on the 14th of August 2003, when a series of events like that occurred and caused the biggest blackout in North America's history.
It was caused by a culmination of power lines sagging into trees, which forced the current to be rerouted to other lines, which in turn made them overheat, sag into trees, and short-circuit as well. It was also caused by computer bugs, which failed to sound any alarms on some of these issues, combined with systems being overwhelmed by the amount of data and some errors of judgment. These seems like trivial issues, but the result was that 4 hours after the beginning of these events, 256 power plants were offline. More than 50 million people across 8 northeastern states and parts of Canada were left without power for at least 24 hours, and many were in the dark for weeks. Thousands of commuters were stranded underground for hours. Flights were canceled. Gas station pumps were unable to operate, and drivers continued on the highway until their cars were empty. People were stuck in elevators or in traffic for miles. Fresh water supplies were contaminated, and millions had to boil their water for days. The economy suffered a loss of about $6.4 billion in revenue, and almost 100 people died of causes somewhat related to the blackout. Regrettably, this catastrophe could have been avoided if some measures would have been taken had people got accurate information at the proper time.
I think I can say that we've made tremendous leaps on technologies that allows us to improve our chances at predicting or preventing such events from ever happening again. Computers are more powerful now, the information travels faster, the alarms are clearer, and professionals are better trained and equipped to deal with these kinds of situations.
Although a lot of improvements have been made, there's still work to be done. This is the reason why we, here at Vibro System, are working on a secured global monitoring solution to analyze in real time the information of all parts of the grid, so that the right information travels as fast as possible to the right person, and that proper measures can be taken. What we hope to accomplish with this solution is for everyone to be able to access this valuable resource whenever they wish to, without any major interruptions. Contact us for more information about our next generation services, Vibro System. Information to better manage your machines.